So inside this short clip from the Strong by Design podcast, I'm going to share the missing link to six-pack abs, the tipping point to get a flatter belly, the one thing that people overlook every single time they're trying to transform a body. If you do not have this one element in place, you are setting yourself up for failure.
Obviously, we talked about the group. We've talked about accountability people. Like others, you guys are texting. You're in the same thread. Every day, probably, there's messaging going on. I'm struggling today. Or today was a big win. Look what I did. Or check out this picture, right? I mean, share in that, in what that probably really helped people, kind of the momentum of the whole process.
I think it was huge. You gotta, I mean, some of the guys, I remember the one guy, his wife and kids got T-boned in a car accident, and he had to fly out 2 hours later.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So he's texting us all, pray for me, and we're all like raising him up and lifting him up in prayer and texting him back, right? And he's heading to the hospital. He's got to make sure they're okay. Once he confirms they're okay, he's off to the airport. Well, he still hadn't got his second workout in. He had to do his second workout in the airport.
Oh, I think I know who that was.
Danny Chavez.
Yeah. I think I heard about that
story. Yeah, so anyway, it was all kinds of stories like this coming in. I mean, for me personally, mine was my injury. About 2 or 3 days after the injury, I had what I call Plum disease. Poor little old me.
I like it. Plum. It doesn't sound like something you want.
Right.
I have plum. Oh, no. Is it contagious?
I think it can be. And so it was like, oh, poor little old me. And then, the group really lifted me up. I told everybody, I probably would have bailed these last couple of days if it wasn't for you guys. I'm out here stretching and pouting because I can't do any cardio, and now my momentum's ruined, right? And we talk a lot about Big momentum kicking in. And them guys, like, it carries you through. So, if you're out there and you're like trying to figure out a way, find an accountability partner, create a deadline together, dangle the carrot, create a reward. It could be a vacation, it could be an anniversary, it could be, a wedding, anything like that you guys can get together with a group or another person and create a reward and a consequence.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the consequences of me quitting, where I lost that trip, I disappointed somebody that I look up to. And then, of course, I lost. The rest of the group beat me. So I had a variety of reasons how effective an accountability group can be. And again, too, a lot of these guys are my friends, too. I even recommend finding somebody that's just not a friend to do it with, because somebody that really is going to call your ass out. You know what I mean? I think that's super, super important.
Yeah, because they don't have the same... the bias, like a friend's gonna give you that leeway.
A spouse is gonna give you the leeway.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
A spouse will, in most cases, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Honey, I had a bad day, honey. It's okay.
Exactly.
No, it's not honey, actually, because for 75 days, I'm really supposed to adhere to this, But if I feel like the accountability and the group mentality and the connection to others is really what helped people through adversity, which is going to happen.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to have one thing that really sucks that happens to them in 2.5 months.
Totally.
Right? At some point. And so when you have those other people there,
right,
that's huge, man. Other people are praying for you, thinking about you, hitting you up with a message, calling you, emailing you, whatever. Like, it's like, wow, that's huge for me. That helped me, yeah.
I mean, like I said, if it wasn't for the group, I wouldn't have been able to finish. And I've been doing this for 20 years.
You're like the expert in transformation. I mean, think about it. This goes back 20 years. You were a Body for Life champ. You know what I mean? Like, you know what to do. But
the same psychology applies to me as it does to everybody else. Correct. And I think too, talking about like the power of planning, like those days where it was 10 p.m. at night, those were few and far between for me. Because if you, and it's so cliche, the whole like, if you plan to, or you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
But literally, seriously, just take this to heart. If you do this every morning and you wake up and your water bottle is sitting there full, your clothes for the gym are laid out, okay? You're packed for your first workout. Your book is sitting there, right? And you can knock out a workout and read your 10 pages and suck down 40, 50 ounces of water in the first couple hours of your day, right? It's your frog.
That's your frog, bro. You're flying now.
Yeah, you just ate it, and now it's just like, bam, almost half that list is checked off. Now, here's the difference. If you wake up in the morning and you don't do that, I promise you it's going to cost you an hour. It's going to cost you an hour, whether you realize it or not. You're going to try to, because what is happening is, you have to wake up and make decisions. And willpower is like a battery on your cell phone. Every decision that you make, it depletes.
Yeah.
Right? And so so if you wake up and everything's packed and planned ahead of time, you just eliminated about 5 or 6 decisions that you would have to wake up and make. And so when you make those decisions, not only have you chewed through time, you've chewed through mental energy and willpower as well. And so this is one thing that I've learned. And I've tested this over and over again. I'll wake up not doing that, and I'll be pissed at myself every single time, because I know it just cost me at least 30, if not an hour, because of the mental energy that I just used.
Yeah.
And so most people think that willpower is a muscle, and it's not. Willpower is a battery, and it declines with every decision you make throughout the day. And motivation is really just a myth. There's no such thing as consistent motivation. I mean, how many times have you worked out when you're not motivated to work out? A lot.
Many times.
A lot. I mean, people often will ask me, like, oh man, how do you stay so motivated? I'm like, I don't. Just do it. Right? Just do it.
It's a decision, and it's discipline. That's all it is. It's not that I'm motivated. It's just I know I have to do it.
And when you make it a habit in your life, the habit turns into a ritual. Right? And so one thing that you have to realize too about this whole planning ahead thing is that, and Tim Grover did a good job of this in his book, Winning. You can't manage time. A second's a second. A minute's a minute, an hour's an hour, a day's a day, a month's a month, a year's a year. You can't slow it down or speed it up or manage it. Time is time. You can only manage focus. And so by planning ahead and doing this every day, no matter what your goals are, doing that, you're managing your focus. And that's ultimately going to carry over into either you having a productive day or not.
And doing the planning and the legwork before you go to bed is huge. You're just setting yourself up for success. Like you said, fill the bottle up before you go to bed, pack the bag, arrange get the food like sorted and labeled and portioned out, and all that stuff is done. It just makes things work like clockwork the next day. It reduces stress, which it helps reduce cortisol, and everything works in your favor. And then mentally, you're just sharper. You feel like you're owning the day, and you're only a few hours in. But like you said, you've already had such, so many wins already, and the day is young. You're like, man, the rest of the day is freaking just gravy from here. So that's what's awesome.